Episode 30, season 2 of ReZero, man. Or I believe, episode 5 of season 2. This episode really just, it kind of throws everything in chaos in a sense, right? We have the whole ending scene with the Bowel Hunter. Let's just talk about that for a second. She's back. Who does she work for? I think has really always been our most interesting question, because she's someone who does not resemble the witch's cult at all, just by the way she dresses, by the way she walks, by the way she talks. It seems as if there's like the witch's cult, the good guys, which is of course our protagonist, and then there's some other kind of group or something here. I'm really fascinated with where they're going with her character, and she was always an interesting character from the start of the witch's cult being introduced, because you always kind of got that impression that she wasn't necessarily belonging to that said group. So I'm wondering what's actually going on with her character, and that's really all I can really say on her, because they just have not given us enough about her. But now I'm fully interested. I think this is going to be a super interesting arc, and I think it'll be really interesting if there is a third party involved and really kind of turns the tables on everybody. It'll be really interesting, because as we know, when we're going back to the castle, or Subaru he was mentioned to watch out for Frederica, and of course he mentioned Beatrice as well. So looking into what the main issue is this episode, though, it's really kind of Roswal and what Amelia's dealing with. So we see Amelia come out of the trials, and she's a person that is broken. She's someone who went through great suffering, obviously far worse than Subaru ever did. She's saying, I didn't do it, but yet you're still Father, Puck, help me. And I think this is something to where Amelia comes from the witches. I would assume Amelia is a part of the witches. That's all I could assume, dude. Maybe she's the daughter of the Witch of Envy. That's my best guess. She's some kind of product of the Witch of Envy. That's my guess. That's my gut feeling. I feel like that's like her mother. And because I noticed one thing, she never said mother. She said father, and she said Puck. Obviously, those would be the two closest people to her. Who would be the third closest? Well, it would be none other than her mom. Why didn't she say it? Why did she resemble the jealous witch so much? I'm just saying what people kind of, how people view her, and what, the evidence we've been given from episode 1, when she's called Satella, I said jealous witch, but whenever she's called Satella, the fact that she didn't mention her mom, whenever she's talking about people saving her, she mentioned the two people closest to her. Her mom wasn't close to her. I wonder why. Maybe her mom was the one that she's telling I didn't do it, but yet. These are all questions I actually do have, and I do not have answers to. But moving along, what do you guys think of the means to an end? Because what Roswal is saying about him not being there is absolutely disgusting. Moral compass out the window, but it got the job done. Like you said, it was a means to an end, and without doing this, that means you and Amelia would have never gotten credit. You would have never been respected by anyone. Therefore, you would have no chance of ever winning this royal selection. And at the same time, I think this is actually really important, though, because the way Roswell is talking about Subaru having faith in him, believing in him, and Subaru even, it shows his self-awareness and where he's kind of come and how he needs to evaluate things like he did, from like episode, 15 to 19. When he's evaluating things, breaking things down, forming relationships, as Roswal is saying he predicted, which was Eisen-esque. That's really Eisen-esque, Roswal. Like, what the heck? Now, looking at this, though, here's the thing that's interesting. He says, looks like the conversation's ending right after Subaru said, what do you know about me? What do you know? I was the weakest dude there, but yet you had faith in me defeating the witch's cult? Me? How? How would you have ever known that? How could you have ever believed in that? What about me would have ever gotten you to believe in that? You think I'm someone that wouldn't at least messed up on my first time and gotten myself, deceased? That makes no sense. Roswal knows something. And I'm going to bank on that. It's not just some emotional thing like faith, because one, he ended the conversation after Subaru kind of started to attack him like, what do you know? It looks like the conversation's ending. Oh, that's weird. But what I know about ReZero is, so far, it just hasn't cut corners. It's always been it's had depth to everything. It hasn't just been, no, I just believe in you, that's all. So I think there's something going on there. I just can't believe that he knows Subaru's secret, per se. because it just wouldn't make sense. The whole, hey, you can't tell Roswal or anyone else in the world that we've talked. That's part of the deal here, Subaru, that, the witch agreed said. But yet he would know stuff about Satella and Subaru's connection to Satella, unless Subaru's connection isn't necessarily to Satella, but let's just say it is to Satella because everything points that direction. So it's really interesting. A lot of interesting concepts and or ideas being thrown out about what this really could be. I'm not sure about what it is, but I'm interested, to find out what it's gonna be, because I'm just so fascinated. I'm so intrigued. I'm so dumbfounded. I'm just so into the show, to where even though I'm so into it, and I can basically remember even these first 5 episodes frame by frame, episode by episode, I'm still in a place where I'm just like, I don't know. and I mean, I guess that's the greatness of ReZero at the end of the day, because it does a great job of displaying questions while slowly answering them, and then having layers that connect to them that we kind of got to go off to a separate path in order to find out. So other than that, though, another thing that I actually did want to talk about is the conservative group. So the conservative group, of course, a little bit political here, I guess, in a sense, right? In this episode of ReZero. And we find out that, hey, make sure you keep an eye on her, because some of them are demi-humans, and they know what life's like on the outside because they weren't always trapped in here. This is kind of them being able to stay safe. It allows for less interaction. Even though humans can come in here, I mean, no one wants to travel to the witch's graveyard. It's just that bad omen. So they feel protected, right? And, of course, Amelia's in danger as he keeps trying to try to pass this trial, because she's putting herself in a situation to where now you don't know. You don't know if they're going to come now or later, or when, someone could strike and try to harm Amelia. We don't know that now. And the more she tries and more she fails, of course, the more they're probably going to allow things to spiral out of control mentally. And the conservatives are going to go on an onslaught, per se. But one quick though thing here. Think about this as well. Subaru actually did finally die, right? He's died since the first time in, geez, how many episodes has it been now? Has it been 7 episodes? I think this is like the longest streak. Now the question is, how does Subaru react to an old foe? How does he react to his old foe known as death? That's a question we got to ask ourselves as well, because he hasn't been through this recently, and that's an interesting thing. But trying to close this out, though, really quick here, I do have the question of, how do you guys view the relationship of Subaru and Echna? I think it is Echna. Is it Echna? It's Echna. It's at D silent Echna. So what do you guys think of Echna and or the Witch Agreed's relationship with Subaru? How do you guys view that? Where do you guys feel like it's going? The way they're talking in the classroom, the way he still appreciates what Echna did for him, allowing him to say what he needed to say to his parents. He's like, hey, I know this is kind of a shits and giggles to you, and there is meaning to it though still, but not necessarily to you. You know it's meaning for the person, but it's not necessarily meaning for you. It's just one of your tests and trials. You're kind of 50 amused by it, and maybe 50% trying to help me. Doesn't come off as it, as you taught me, but nonetheless, you did allow me to see my parents and say what I wanted to say, and for that I thank you. And I think my interpretation of that is Echna is not all bad. She has good qualities. She even mentioned that she wasn't necessarily a good witch, while all the other ones were, besides, of course, Satella, who demolished all of them. She does state that I wasn't necessarily a bad person or a good person, but I definitely can't say I'm good. That's kind of how I interpreted what she was saying. She's kind of indirectly saying, I have about 35% bad qualities about myself, but I am 65% good. I'm not a lunatic. I don't, let people perish for fun. I don't try to just destroy people, but I do have a dark side to me that is heartless. But there is still fragments of heart there, nonetheless. And I think Subaru kind of read through that. Yeah, you're not necessarily the best person, but you're also not the worst person by no means. So, other than that, though, I think that's actually what I want to cover looking down at my notes now. So with that being said, guys, what do you guys think of this episode? It's a lot of questions. We're diving into stuff. We were supposed to be watching out for Frederica, and we know Frederica is only doing this for Roswal, as she stated as in episode 3 and or 28 of season 2. She stated that, I've done my job, Lord Roswal. I did as you command. I sent him there. I gave him the necklace and all these, and Amelia, all these things. So obviously she's in on it with Roswal. So now my question is, does Roswal know the Bowl Hunter's coming there? I think he does. I think this is part of, because once again, Frederica's not there. Where is she? Why? How would the Bowl Hunter just be in the mansion without Frederica knowing? How would the Bowl Hunter be in the mansion without Beatrice knowing? I don't really know what's going on. Beatrice is someone who can be in her room and not notice. That would make sense. But Frederica, it would not make sense for her not to know that the Bowl Hunter's there. So, other than that, though, guys, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me to Twitter X25. See you guys next time. Peace. Thank you so much for watching, guys.